Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I am your host, Jon Herold, and I hope you're all having a wonderful Friday, at least as wonderful as it can be. What a week. I'm pretty happy it's almost over. So we got plenty to discuss today. We're going to go through updates on the Charlie Kirk situation. They have found the shooter. Some aspects of this story, they don't fit right. They don't pass the smell test. I kind of want to talk about some of that, but we'll go through some clips. Trump was on with Good Morning America today, and there's some clips from that we're going to go through, not just related to Charlie Kirk, but all sorts of things. I also want to discuss the cancel culture a little bit, and so we'll get into that. How are you guys in the chat doing? Yeah, the presser didn't measure up. Yeah, I have some comments on it. We'll get to that. Let's real quick go through the sponsors of today's show, and then we'll get into what's going on. First up, we got Viper Bats. Absolutely love these guys. Got a few of them here at home. Step up to the plate with Viper Bats, American-made, precision-crafted wood bats for athletes of all ages or home defenders of all ages. Viper Bats are made for players by players using hand-split maple, birch, and ash billets to ensure unmatched durability and big league quality. Founded by a father and son with a deep love for baseball, every Viper Bat reflects their player-driven passion and expertise. With tons of color options and a 45-day warranty on most bats, you can swing with confidence. Viper Bats, crafted for players, built to last, made to love the game. Swing the best wood bats you'll ever hold. Swing Viper Bats. Badlandsmedia.tv/bats. Use promo code Badlands15 for 15% off non-blemished bats. That's badlandsmedia.tv/bats. Promo code Badlands15. And as I've been saying, they can also be used for home defense, not just baseball. And we also got All Good. Unlock glowing, youthful skin with no tox smoothing serum from All Good by our very own Jessica Storm. Think Botox, but with no toxins. Crafted with premium organic ingredients, the serum hydrates, rejuvenates, and balances your skin naturally, and housed in an amber glass bottle, so it's all good inside and out. It's the perfect companion for a gua sha, I don't even know how to say that word, to enhance every glide for a lifted, sculpted look. Choose one of All Good's exclusive no-tox and gua sha bundles for the ultimate skincare experience and start making self-care great again. No-tox smoothing serum, organic, effective, and all good for your skin. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/allgood. A portion of your purchase goes directly to support Badlands Media. Use promo code Badlands for 5% off plus free shipping over $75. It's badlandsmedia.tv/allgood. Red Pill 78. Wife's in the chat. Good to see ya. Tattooed teacher. Hoping I can give you a call today, Tattoo. I couldn't get to it yesterday. Phil Scarver of Poor Cash always looks like he's in over his head. I think he's doing all right, but yeah, I can't imagine the situation because he knew Charlie personally. You know, a lot of these people did. Yeah, I suppose we update with the shooter. They found him, and actually that's part of this. The FBI didn't do shit here, but he's been found. Okay, Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old Utah resident, has been identified as the suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Law enforcement sources said that Robinson was arrested late Thursday night in southern Utah, about 260 miles from Utah Valley University, where Kirk was killed at a rally on Wednesday. He allegedly confessed to his father, Matt, a 27-year veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Department. Family friend was then contacted, who alerted authorities and helped secure Robinson before he could be taken into custody. His mother, Amber, works for Intermountain Support Coordination Services, a state-contracted agency providing disability care. Robinson was attending Utah State University on a scholarship and lived with his family in a 6-bedroom home in Washington, Utah. Social media shows him with 2 younger brothers, often on family trips and celebrating with his college acceptance. Officials said Robinson could face the death penalty if convicted, punishment President Trump said he hopes Robinson receives. Trump announced the arrest on Fox News, noting that someone very close to the suspect had turned him in. The capture came after a manhunt that stretched more than a day and a half. And I think we do got some of the details here. I think this is the video.
Area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle.
I want to find the actual. There's a better clip of them describing the entire situation. So give me a second. I thought that was the one, but it wasn't. I don't know what, that might be it right there. Yeah, here we go.
We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate.
So a couple things on this. I don't know if he's a patsy. I don't know. He could be. A lot of people are very quick to do that. And I think our reaction to always like not trusting anything these people tell us is justified because of how many times they've lied to us and never given us the full details on anything. Like, why would we not question something when we're not getting the truth? We're clearly not getting the full story here. We've seen the video of him jumping off the roof and like, where's the rifle there? And people are saying they disassembled it and then put it back together to present it as a gift in the wood. Like, there's just so many parts of the story that still don't make sense. Also, the FBI didn't do shit here, which to me is kind of weird. Like, they caught this guy because they released surveillance footage and somebody else recognized him and turned him in. And that's how, like, so when they started this whole thing with like a whole self-congratulatory circle jerk, like, you guys really didn't do anything. It may have gone quicker if they had just released everything instantly right away and it all been public source, and we could have open sourced it and figured it out probably quicker than they did. But they held it all close to the vest. Whatever. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, none of the actual investigative steps taken by law enforcement led to the arrest. It was entirely based on open source information and putting the pictures out there and the public doing it. It just makes you wonder if that's how things should be with all these crimes. But anyway, and I'm sorry for swearing, Dang. I said I wasn't going to swear. Or at least I never said that publicly. I said it mentally and to myself internally because somebody in the chat said that they have a 10-year-old son watching. So welcome to the show, 10-year-old. I'll do my best. Yeah, there's so many like weird aspects to this story that they just don't add up. And so I'm not going to sit here and really speculate on whether this is actually the guy, whether he's the patsy, whether there's other people involved. Like, it's too soon. It hasn't been 72 hours yet. We don't even know. We hardly know anything. They haven't really given us much. And so I'm just going to kind of wait and gather information as it comes. And, you know, there's airplane theory stuff, the weird flight patterns that happened around the time of the shooting that people were looking at too. And I think there's some meat on that bone. There's just a lot. Didn't we have John Solomon and maybe even Hannity at one point saying there's some foreign intel aspect to this? I don't know. I don't know. But this is who they're telling us the shooter is. And I think we'll have a clear picture in the days to come. So I'm just not going to, I'm going to not try to like overreact to any of this quite yet. The press conferences have been a major, I would say, letdown. Like, was it yesterday we waited for forever. They come out, Kash Patel comes out, all these people come out, and they just give like a 5-minute, we have no idea what's going on. And then they left. Like, that's kind of embarrassing. And then even after the fact, I posted this video last night. I think it was Disclosed TV who originally posted it. But I found it remarkable. I mean, because you don't see shootings like this happen very often where we don't figure out who did it almost immediately due to either them taking their own lives or just law enforcement finding them within 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. Most of the time, like, these things are resolved, at least the story of it is resolved very quickly. And within 24 hours, they didn't even know they had the guy. Listen to what he says here.
Is it your understanding that this individual may be close by or still in Utah?
We have no idea.
We have no idea. They had no idea. The fact he even said that was so. Even I know, like, I'm not in law enforcement, but if you're investigating something by saying we have no idea, you're like basically telling the guy that, like, he doesn't have to worry. You don't have to worry, bro. It's just your friends and family are going to turn you in. But yeah, this was last night before. It was after the press conference before they actually apprehended the guy. So they were going nowhere until the family turned him in. Kudos to the family for doing that too. I cannot imagine how difficult that would be to, like, the information we have on the family. Again, if the story is even real, but the information we have is that, you know, this guy's a police guy. They seem like a good family, conservative values, go on vacations, all these things. He was a smart guy, went to college, gets indoctrinated, and ends up shooting Charlie Kirk. To, like, that be your son and you turning him in like that, it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, it's the right thing to do. It couldn't have been easy. But anyway, yeah, this whole thing is just, it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. But one thing I do want to talk about real quick before we get into, like, some of Trump's comments and everything else, there's this, like, huge cancel culture moment taking place right now. What's up, Ash? You might disagree with me here. John, you sound a little whiny right now. Thank you. That was from, not Ash, that was from Pleiades. I don't feel whiny. But I am about to say something that you guys will probably disagree with. And I'm okay with you guys disagreeing with me on this, by the way. I'm having a difficult time with the cancel culture thing, and I'm going to explain why. So I'm going to give you guys my thought process here and, like, the things that have been going through my mind as I'm witnessing this play out. Because there was a moment yesterday when I was on Twitter, and almost my entire feed was just filled with people getting other people fired for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Okay? And just hear me out before you overreact to what I'm about to say. Okay? I personally am not going to participate in that. And there's multiple reasons. And the main one is, like, I've been a victim to cancel culture myself. And there's even, like, a subset of our own little community movement that is basically trying to cancel me right now over manufactured bullshit. Like, there are people literally texting Badlanders telling them to, like, stop supporting us, and they're using provable lies as justification. It's stupid. And we'll talk more about that in the future, in the next coming weeks and months, and that's a separate issue. But I've been a victim to cancel culture myself, and so I can't find myself to participate in that. But don't get me wrong, I have zero sympathy for any of these people that are losing their jobs. Absolutely none. I think these people deserve to lose their jobs. If I was their employer, I would fire them. Like, I want these people to lose their jobs just like you do. And it's like, it makes me happy to see these people getting fired. And it's absolutely unacceptable. Anybody in public service, the military, stuff like that, Secret Service. I saw a Secret Service guy, some politicians, like, the situations like that. Absolutely. Like, they should be gone. I get it. I'm not denying any of that. Like, it feels good to see these people who celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk get fired. And the fact that it's even happening, it does show how far the shift has come, because they're no longer like the protected group of people. Like the leftists are no longer protected from their behaviors, which is a good thing. It shows the shift. It shows we're winning, and that's kind of my point here. Like we're winning, but what are we winning? We're winning an info war, right? This is an info war. We talk about it all the time. We talk about psyops all the time. And as I'm watching this play out, I'm just thinking about psyops more and more. And this whole shooting scenario has got me thinking psyops. And other people are talking psyops and what the actual point of psychological warfare is. And we've been studying this for 4 years almost. Psyops are meant, the whole point of them is to influence your opinions, your emotions, your behaviors to accomplish whatever goal the side that is psyoping you or putting forth the psyop wants. And psyops play out around everything, all over the place. Every story you see, there's some sort of psyop twist on it, whatever. They're doing this to get us to react so that they can accomplish their goal or get us at least closer to that goal. And we can only speculate what that goal is. You know, is it just as simple as they want our guns? That's probably part of it. But I think the general consensus from our movement is these people are losing. They're desperate. And the best possible thing for them would be some sort of civil war, right? Like they want us divided. And the ultimate form of dividing is us literally killing each other. Like that's the ultimate form of their division that they could manufacture. And so again, I'm totally okay with what's happening to these people. And that's the problem. I'm recognizing that I'm okay with it and I'm happy about it. I think the people that are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk are clearly mentally unstable. Like that is not somebody with morals and that is like sane would not be celebrating the death of any human being. And that's kind of like where I'm having pause here is like, I don't necessarily think that getting mentally unstable people fired is going to make the situation better. It's going to feel good right now as we see all these people getting fired for sure. But what does that lead to? Like, I feel like I'm being psyoped right now into being happy about this taking place. I'm happy it's happening. I'm having an emotional reaction to what I'm seeing on the internet. And I'm recognizing that I'm being psyoped. And that's part of the reason why I'm not going to participate. I'll bring that up here in a second too. But I understand that everybody's pissed about what happened with Charlie Kirk and they're hurt and they're sad and everybody's having some sort of emotional or spiritual reaction to what's taking place here. Like it was an inflection point. No doubt about it. We all want justice. We all want the bullshit to stop. We want the leftist, like the deranged ideologies to stop being pushed. We want the mainstream media lies to stop being told. Like we all want things to change. And getting these people fired, I will say, is like it's and I think Ash pointed this out yesterday. It's a much better situation than just the actual overt confrontation of physical violence that they would dream of. Like it's better than civil war. But is this just going to lead to like that next shooter, which is then going to lead us closer to that civil war anyway? Like some of the videos I'm seeing now today, like yesterday it was the videos of them celebrating, and then it was pictures of people reporting them to their employer, and then today it's people, these deranged leftists, like freaking out and screaming into their phones online because they got fired for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Again, not mentally sane. Like, are we just creating the next leftist that's going to go and shoot a right-wing commentator because they're losing their jobs? And then another part of this too is like all the accounts that are pushing and like leading the charge in this like retribution campaign of getting these people fired. It's all the same Con Inc. regime accounts that we have been saying for 3-4 years have been protecting the establishment and their election fraud infrastructure. It's all the same people. Like the people that want us to live in the forever psyops are pushing the cancel culture war right now. And again, I know that this has happened to us in the past, the cancel culture stuff. They did it to our side. It feels good to do it back to them. I'm recognizing that it feels really good to see it happening. But that's the point. I'm recognizing I'm being psyoped right now when I see this. And that's why I'm not going to participate, because I don't have a solution here either, guys. Like I don't know what the solution is to like fix the actual problems in this country. I'm not pretending I do. Like I have my own opinions on what they are, and I think we are trying to live that through the Badlanders groups and what we're doing here in the Badlands community. But I don't know what the actual solution is. At least I haven't figured it out yet. Or I'd have a much bigger house if that was the case. But I do know that the best way to not be psyoped is to not do the thing that the psyop is trying to get you to do once you've recognized that you are being psyoped. Like that's common sense. And you guys know I'm stubborn. Like I don't do what anybody tells me to do anyway. But once I realize that whoever out there that's controlling the psyop is trying to get me to do a certain thing, and right now it's like find every account that you can and get them fired from their job. That's what they want me to do. I'm just not going to do that, because that's the goal from their psyop. And whatever their ultimate goal after that is, I don't know. And the last thing I'm just going to say on this is, again, recognizing that these people deserve it. Like I have no sympathy for them. I don't know how we coexist with these people. They're awful. It feels good to see it happening. I try to remember what Charlie Kirk was actually doing when he got killed. He went into a college campus. He's sitting there in front of a whole bunch of liberals, and he's engaging with them in debate. He was he's a free speech absolutist. And there were people that would come up to the microphone and say the most vile, awful things to him sometimes. Some people would actually engage in debate, of course, but some people would say just terrible, awful things. And you'd have people in the crowd chanting, "Death to Charlie Kirk, death to Charlie Kirk," all these things. And I don't remember a single story of Charlie Kirk trying to go get those people fired from their jobs after the fact. I don't think Charlie Kirk would have done that. Like, he's a free speech absolutist. I'm a free speech absolutist. There's free speech in this country, and I don't want that taken away. And as gross and disgusting and abhorrent as the things these people are saying are, like, they still have the right to say it. It's up to the employers. You know, if the things these people are saying do not fit the values of their company, of course, let them go. I'm just explaining to you why I'm personally not going to participate in it. And I think there's some psyop behind it. But anyway. John, you're trying to be reasonable. You can't reason with evil. Yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is here. Like, there's the divide here is so it's so big, and I didn't quite realize how many, if it's even real, but how many people are so happy about what happened. Like, there's so many people that I would consider to be mentally unstable. Like, I don't know how anybody could look at what happened to Charlie Kirk and who he was and the family and all that stuff and be happy about that and celebrate that. Like, that is not normal human behavior to me. I didn't realize how many people like that were out there. And you know, we're kind of in our own little bubble here with Badlands, and just me personally, like, I don't have many liberal friends, and the liberal people that I do know, they're more conservative than they think. They're Democrats because they're too stupid and too lazy to actually dig into what their group believes in, and they just listen to what the mainstream media tells them. I don't know any like truly deranged leftists. And so it's been eye-opening to see it. And I don't know how that divide is overcome. And maybe it's not able to be overcome. I recognize, like, we're at a war here for the soul of our country. It's a battle for the soul of our country. I totally recognize and understand that. I also don't want to see us in an actual civil war, because that is what the enemy wants. So I don't know. John has a point. This is from Naturally Nikki. The same arguments we are using right though we may be, are the same arguments they tried to use against us, twisted as their viewpoint may have been. Yep. And so you guys do what you feel is right. I know some people in our audience, like I just made a post yesterday. I didn't even say it was good or bad. I just said my entire timeline right now is mega people getting others fired. Like that's it. I didn't say I approved of it or disapproved of it because I'm torn on it. But the responses were overwhelmingly like, yeah, it's about time. It's great. Like justice, all these things. And I agreed with those too. That's what's so hard about it is like, I like it. And that's the problem. And so I'm just not going to participate in it. And those who are, like especially if it's like at your school or something, like if it's personally affecting you in some way, of course. Like if you have somebody teaching your kids or in your community on your local government or something like that, of course. You don't want that affecting your kids or your community. I'm just not going to like get involved and get somebody across the country that I've never met before fired because of something they said online. So anyway, there's that. Let's play a couple comments from Trump and what he said this morning on Good Morning America. We'll start with the few about Charlie Kirk, and then we'll get into more of the geopolitical newsy stuff. So let's do this one first.
In the midst of, building for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects that would design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, what do you mean dead? Charlie Kirk was shot. And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, And I said, dead? And it was like, I just told these people, get out, just go. This is the worst thing. This was so.
There's that. And then there's this one.
What do you as a dad, and a lot of dads and moms are wondering what to say, what do you say to them?
So Barron's a very good student. And Barron came to me and he said, Dad, I'd like to meet somebody that you know. Who? Charlie Kirk. I said, what? I thought he was going to say, I want to meet like King Charles or something, like we're going to meet soon, right? But he said, really, you want? And I set up a lunch with him, and he came back. He said, that guy's great, Dad. That guy's great. It was cute. He's unbelievable. I don't know what it was. Charlie had a magic over the kids, and large numbers of them, and very diverse, black, white. I mean, everybody, the young women and boys, and I've never seen anything like it. And it was all good. I mean, it was good stuff. It wasn't some of the stuff you read about where they're in favor of all these horrible things. It was really good stuff. And we lost an unbelievable warrior.
What do you as a dad?
We sure did. But yeah, so the funeral, I don't know if they've put the date or time of when the funeral is going to be out yet. But I do want to play this one more clip, and this one's a short one, and he's talking about the only thing that's going to bring us together. And this is something we should be discussing too. This is what he says.
The only thing that's going to bring us together is tremendous success.
I understand.
He's been saying that for a long time. And we've been talking about that. Like, what is the moment we are waiting for that is going to turn things around? And I think tremendous success is a part of that. But I also think you have to think about the things that, what is going to prevent the tremendous success from happening? And I think it's lack of like exposure of all the real problems. You know, we've been waiting for disclosure and exposure on so many different topics. And maybe some of that stuff will kind of spark some of these mentally deranged people to realize their how messed up their worldview is. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody in the chat said you've been naive about, you know, how deranged these liberals are for a while, and you're not wrong. I try to see the good in people. I try to give the benefit of the doubt. I can't tell you how many times that's burned me, especially since I started doing this stuff. Like, you meet people online, you think they're cool, you do everything you can to support them, and still at the end of the day, they will betray you and stab you in the back. It's happened countless times. And I just keep doing it because it's the right thing to do. I don't know how we fix some of these people. I don't know if they're saving. I don't have the answer to that. I'm not afraid to say I don't have answers. I'm not going to tell you I do. I don't know how things are going to play out. But I do recognize in Trump, we have somebody who he's got the pulse of this country. He's affected by this just as much as anybody is. He recognizes what happened here. And I got to imagine that him and his team and the people around him, they're not going to leave office without at least attempting to try to fix this kind of problem. It's not just by being super successful with economic stuff. There's so much more that goes into the tremendous success that's going to bring us together. And I still think, and I still believe that part of this is on us and our shoulders, the grassroots ground up community we need to build and that we're working on building. Because how many people become deranged leftists because all they do is sit at home? Like, they don't live in a real world because they don't meet anybody in the real world. They sit at home on their computer, which is ironic because that's basically all I do all day. And they just don't engage. They only consume the information that's coming from the TV screen. And they have no human connection. Like, a lot of the issues with the shooter itself, they're saying he was talking to people in this Discord server, this Discord chat. I don't know. It's badlandsmedia.tv/events. Sign up for group. Goes to base by tyranny. Not about losing faith. It's people living in deniability about the reality of the situation. In denial. Yeah. You're right, Ghost, too. It's insane to think that we can thrive and coexist with it. We can't. And I don't know how we fix it. I'm not advocating to just get rid of these people either. But yeah, one more thing from Ghost says, John is right. The deep state, QT term, is powerful enough to stop the golden age. I've always said the enemy has a say, and they are going to, the closer we get to actually reaching the golden age, the worse it's going to get, the worse they're going to make things for us. We have to choose to get us over that finish line. And I don't know what that looks like, but I'm not going to listen to libs of TikTok online and who's telling me to just dox everybody that celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. That's not the answer either. It feels good, but the feeling of goodness there is going to be fleeting. And it's not even real anyway. And you shouldn't be seeking those temporary moments of, yes, revenge feels great. It's no way to live. And I really doubt Charlie Kirk would have wanted that either. Anyway, let's keep plugging away here. There's a couple comments on Russia, the Supreme Court. Yeah, we'll do this one first, I think, the tariffs.
We have two things. We've been successful because of the tariffs. It's given us a great power to negotiate with other countries that took advantage of us. Tremendous power. Also, it's brought in trillions of dollars into our country. We have a big case brought by foreign governments because the foreign governments have been ripping us off for years, and it's now in the Supreme Court. That case is really important to win because it's made us a rich country. It's made us a rich country. Because I don't want to call it retribution, but we've been ripped off.
Trying to rebalance.
We've been ripped off for years by countries and by having presidents that were not smart in a business sense. I'm not saying they were good politicians, but they were stupid businessmen. They allowed the world to rip us off. If we don't, that Supreme Court case is so important. And frankly, this economy, if we win the tariff case, which we should on the legal merits, but on common sense, we would have to give back trillions of dollars
to these countries.
What can you imagine?
All those deals.
We would have to give back trillions and trillions of dollars because we got it because of tariffs. That case is one of the most important cases in the history of our.
That sure is interesting. We've been talking about that. It is very important, not just for whether or not he gets whether or not he is basically given the authority to continue doing that. Because if he's not, then it's on Congress. And so technically nothing has to change if they didn't want it to. We've talked about this many times. Here's another comment he made. We're going to probably talk about this tomorrow on Power Hour, but he talks about Russia and Putin and some of the situations here. These are fairly short, but I think they're worthwhile.
Does your patience run out with Putin?
Yeah, it's sort of running out and running out fast.
Do you think he was genuine about that? Look at his immediate reaction and where he looks. He looks off to the side to think about how he wants to answer it.
Does your patience run out with Putin?
Yeah, it's sort of running out and running out fast. But it does take two to tango. It's amazing. When Putin wants to do it, Zelensky didn't. When Zelensky wanted to do it, Putin did. Now Zelensky wants to, and Putin is a question mark. But we're going to have to come down very, very strong.
Does your patience?
So there's that. And then he also talks about the drones over Poland.
What are you going to do about President Putin? Because we just saw these drones in Poland.
Yeah, well,
More
the Poland
sanctions?
thing,
More-
I mean, I'm not going to defend anybody, but the Poland, they were actually knocked down and they fell into an area. But you shouldn't be close to Poland anyway.
Right. What are you going to do about?
Oh, dang it. Last thing, I forgot to point this out earlier. I think this is bigger than people are drawing attention to this. So people recognize how important Trump saying this is. Take a listen to this.
But you know, they have professional agitators. They're professional.
Hey.
I had one the other night. I went into a restaurant and this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't. So they get paid for it. They're professional from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into Soros because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that. But you know that.
That's huge. And it's interesting because we know there's a RICO case going on right now. One that ties Russiagate to stolen election theft to everything that took place the last 4 years when Biden was in there, which we know Soros had a hand in. So is he talking about a separate RICO case? Or is he talking about the one we already know about and Soros is just tied into there? Because I'm pretty sure we've seen comments before tying Soros to the first one. But maybe this is part of that solution, is exposing the actual left-wing funding behind this and recognizing like how much money goes in to warping people's minds into believing that Charlie Kirk said awful things when he didn't. We're seeing a lot of that too. Some of the way the mainstream media has lied about things Charlie Kirk has said and how influencers online have lied. Like how many of these people are being funded by George Soros, and it's done for the specific reason of basically implementing a color revolution in this country, which I think they did in 2020 anyway, over Trump. And Trump was basically counter color revolutioning them at the same time. But yeah, I think exposing that is huge. Success means so many different things. And Trump said it earlier. One of the ways we unite is with success. It's not just economic, but it has to come with truth and exposure on so many different things. And exposing the people that have been funding the destruction of our country from within, not just with the paid protests and the agitators and all that stuff, Antifa, Trans-Tifa, but also the politicians. And I'm sure, I'm not even going to look at the chat. I don't have to. I'm sure Ghost is talking about Israel in this regard. We'll see what happens. Let's go through a couple other quick stories here before I got to get out of here. We have Bolsonaro getting convicted by Brazil's Supreme Court of a coup plot after the 2022 elections. He's been sentenced to 27 years. Insanity here, guys. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro was convicted Thursday by a Supreme Court majority of orchestrating a coup attempt to stay in power following the 2022 election, marking the first time in Brazil's history that a former leader has been found guilty of attacking democracy. Attacking democracy. Insane. It's one of the ironic things about the whole shooting thing too is, you know, they killed somebody who was like one of the biggest advocates for free speech, which is supposedly what they say is part of our democracy, right? Like, we're just going to go silence this person forever. Insane. 4 of the 5 judge panel voted to convict, while 1 voted to acquit. He's been sentenced to 27 years and 3 months in prison. This is insanity. The ruling aligns Bolsonaro with other conservative figures facing legal reckoning this year, including France's Marine Le Pen and the Philippines' Rodrigo Duterte. The conviction has already drawn fury from Bolsonaro's ally, President Trump, who denounced the proceedings as a witch hunt and responded with tariff hikes on Brazilian goods, sanctions on the presiding judge, and visa revocations for most members of Brazil's high court. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you guys. Justice Louise Fuchs. Is it Fuchs? Okay, I'm going to say this last name the way I think it's supposed to be said, and this is not me swearing, okay? Justice Louise Fuchs broke with the majority on Wednesday, acquitting Bolsonaro of all charges. His dissent could provide Bolsonaro's defense grounds to appeal and potentially delay the case into the lead-up of the 2026 presidential race, where Bolsonaro insists he remains a candidate despite being barred from office. These people... This is what they were trying to do to Trump. It's a template. Like, if they could have, this is exactly what they would have done to Trump. They just couldn't get away with it. They couldn't actually. I don't know if it's because the mega movement just had too much power behind it. I don't know if there was just more control over the levers of power. What for whatever reason, maybe it was devolution. They were not able to pull off what they're doing to Bolsonaro here, even though this is exactly what they were trying to do. So I'm very curious to watch it play out and see how Trump responds beyond just, oh, we're going to tariff them, all this stuff. That was their last name, guys. F-U-X. How else am I supposed to say that? There's no other interpretation of how to say that. I said the first one, but I felt it was wrong. It didn't feel right. Here's an interesting little story. David Ellison has wasted no time putting his stamp on Paramount. He's making some deals right now. They are seeking to acquire Warner Bros. And Discovery. On Thursday, CNBC reported that Paramount Skydance is working with an investment bank to make an offer for the company. The deal would likely be a costly one, but would secure Ellison's media empire. And I'm torn on this too. I am. Let me show you a couple of things that they'll be buying. CEO, Warner Bros. Discovery yet to receive an offer. The shares of the company soared 30%. Mountain of content. Okay, Paramount already boasts movies. I wanted to make sure this had CNN in it and stuff. So it'd get ESPN, which is big UFC. I mean, that would make UFC stuff interesting. I'm pretty sure CNN is part of this too. That's what I've been seeing online. Yeah, owner of CNN. I don't know how I feel about any person, even if it's somebody that we think is connected to people on our side or whatever, right? Like, Larry Ellison, the Oracle founder, owner, and we've talked about him in the past from a devolution perspective and how he's just tied to so many interesting things. Ezra Cohen-Wadnick, I believe, still works for Oracle. I thought he had left, but he had a tweet the other day which heavily implied he still worked there. So even though I think this is his son and he's connected to whoever the good guys are, whatever that even means, I don't like the idea of any one entity controlling all of the information, media, and all these different things. That's kind of, what got us here in the first place, isn't it? Now, right now, I mean, it's not good right now the way it is. CNN sucks. All these places suck. I think you go after their funding. That's how you do this. You don't just change ownership. But if you stop the pharmaceutical companies from advertising on here, you stop all these other companies. So they're laundering information. That's what they're doing here. They're paying CNN and funding the information war. And maybe it's not just pharmaceutical. It's all these other funding sources. It's just funding the info war. And that's why a big part of winning the battle for them was to defund the other side, which is us. Which is why we can't get on any of the major platforms. We don't get all the major funding like they do. They deplatform us. They get us canceled. But yeah, so this is interesting, though. I'm curious to see if they actually are successful doing this. Bravis says, I just want TV to get good again. I do, too. Yeah, the one series I've been watching that I think is really good, or did think was really good, was that Terminal List. Season 1 was cool. Chris Pratt's in it. They put out like the prequel series, and I like it, but then I'm just sitting here watching it. It's all psyop bullshit. I'm sorry. I meant not to swear. 10-year-old, I'm so sorry. Do not repeat those words, especially at school or in front of your parents. It's psyop. Like, it's all propaganda. Iran building nukes, Mossad working with the CIA, all these different. And I liked it too. Joanne Pappas, things have to be made right first, then they split it all up under decent people. They have to actually do the split up, though. That's the problem. What else here? I got Bolsonaro convicted. I got the Skydance merger. Ooh, this is a big one from today. Trump says National Guard will deploy to Memphis next, sidestepping Chicago for now. I think there's actually a clip of this. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, I think let me play a couple clips from this, because this is the first one where he talks about the crime-free area in DC.
Look at what we did in D.C. We took D.C., probably the single worst place in the country in terms of crime. There's no crime. It's a crime-free area. I went to dinner the other night, stood out in the middle of the street, did interviews with you guys, but I did interviews right in the middle of the street. If I did that 6 months ago or a year ago, I would have about a 30% chance of being here to talk about
We're
it.
getting shouted down.
And you know, it's amazing. DC is now a great safe. Now we're fixing it up physically too. We're putting in new medians. We're going to give everything a little coat of asphalt so we don't have potholes all over. You know, filling a pothole is fine temporarily, but they'd fill a pothole and never touch it for 10 years.
Right.
You know, old potholes don't look good. We're going to fix it up. We're going to make it beautiful at a very minimal cost. And we're going to have the most beautiful capital in the world. But even more importantly than that, it's very safe. People would come from Iowa, they come from Indiana, and their son would be killed. They'd be killed. And now you can come and you can enjoy. I was very embarrassed because I had the president of Poland in, and they started asking me about D.C. a couple of weeks ago. And I said, we're very proud of the fact that nobody's been killed this week. And he looks at me like, you know, head of Poland. He says, what was that? And he said, well, and I'm telling the press, you know, they're doing the little thing in the.
So there's that. And then this is the new update here, sending them to Memphis.
We're going to Memphis. Memphis is
That's the next city.
deeply troubled. And the mayor is happy. He's a Democrat mayor. The mayor is happy. And the governor, Tennessee, the governor is happy. Deeply troubled. We're going to fix that just like we did Washington. I would have preferred going to Chicago. We're going to.
I think this is the move. I don't remember who said it before on a previous show. I think it might have been Bravest. But the model here, the template here that Trump is likely going to execute as he rolls out the National Guard and cleans up the cities, like makes them safer, is doing it in red states. Okay, you did Washington, D.C., you proof of concept. Now go to all the red states with big cities and clean those up first. The Democrats are saying they don't want you there anyway. Have the citizens of those blue states and blue cities like witness crime getting cleaned up in places like Memphis and Louisiana, New Orleans or whatever. Like all these major cities, go to Texas, clean up the crime, clean it up everywhere, every single red state, and have all these blue states sit there and suffer because their own governor won't participate, has Trump derangement syndrome. That is also going to be a red pill. Until they're finally begging for you, and then you send them in. It's all they have to do is consent. And when you get a strong enough consensus from the people that are in those cities and states, they're going to have no choice. It just has to reach that boiling point. But yeah, so we send them to Memphis. We'll see if he actually gets to Chicago or not. But watch mainstream media, of course, they're like trying to spin it. First 8 months of 2025, crime is at a 25-year low. Doesn't make sense why you'd send them here. The crime is fine. Whatever. That might be all the stories that I got for you. There was this, I guess, another kind of rerun or acknowledgement from Just the News here. Iran has no identifiable route to enrich uranium, nuke experts assess. whatever that even means. But apparently a group of independent nuclear proliferation experts assessed that Iran no longer has a pathway to enrich uranium for nuclear weapons, because they totally had one in the first place. Also, we haven't had any declass lately from Just the News. They were on a stretch there where they were like just constant with it. It was almost every day or every other day. And they were like teasing stuff, and they were doing rerun stories. And this leads me more to believe that the whole timeline of the declasses is a little more scripted than we realize. Is that when something like so emotional and just devastating, like what took place with Charlie Kirk, happens, they're able to just pause. They're able to pause where we are on that narrative timeline and the narrative declass there, and just, okay, like we need to get through this before we get back on track with disclosing all the things that we've been building up to. You know what I mean? That makes it it's a proof of concept that, like, this is more about the story. Don't tell Bernie Brett I said this. It's more about the story than the actuals. Don't tell him I said that. But I do find it interesting we haven't had declass in a couple days now. We haven't even had stories about it. It's all been Charlie Kirk and then other whatever's going on. Nothing from CNN, nothing there. Yeah, that might be all I got. I knew I was going to kind of rant there for a little bit, so I think that's a good place to call it for the week. Go through some rants here and then see what the chat's saying, and we'll get you guys out of here. I think Ghost is going live after this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Geopolitics with Ghost is after this, so I'll send you guys over there. Also, tonight we have OnlyLands, so make sure you guys tune into that. Probably have a pretty good group, pretty good round table. Also, if you guys wouldn't mind, you guys should probably know Mo Benson if you've been watching Badlands for a while. Mo has been having some intestinal issues, and she has been flown to California. She's on she had a blockage, and she's on like her fourth. She's had 3 surgeries, and so she's recovering. She's fighting it down there. Just keep her in her prayers. She's been a sponsor of ours for a long time. Then also another prayer request is for Jonathan Drake. For those of you who don't know, he's come to a couple of guards. He's a big guy in the chats. He was actually on OnlyLands just last Friday. He was a fill-in. His mother is not doing well. She got a cancer diagnosis, and it's pretty aggressive. So just keep him and his family in your prayers as well. I know he'd really appreciate that. Real quick, some Rumble rants. If I can share my screen here. Camel Hat Guy. Good to see you, Camel Hat Guy. Do you think it's a matter of time before one of these woke idiots that got fired to return to the workplace and shoot up the place? I do. That's kind of my point of why I said all that. Like, I don't think it's better than us just like going and taking these people out, right? We don't want that. Do not advocate for that ever. But I don't think this is going to lead to a good situation either. I think we're just radicalizing the next shooter, unfortunately. Team Smooth for $5. Thank you for the rant redirecting to a principled response. Thank you for the rant, man. Or woman, I guess. I don't know. Just thank you for the rant. Ray Aaliyah, don't let the enemy drag you down to their level and corrupt your soul with anger and the evil they did to us. If you're having an emotional reaction, which is justified to what we saw, but if that emotional reaction is causing you to do things, you may not be doing it from the right place. I would encourage you guys to, before you do anything, just sit with it, chew on it, make sure you're making the decision because you want to and you believe it's the right thing to do, not just because you think it's going to feel good after you do it. 1776 V24Me says freedom of association applies to all types of organizations. That's a good point. And then again, for $2, he grew up in a really nice community. Idyllic, actually. The irony just kind of shows what happens at these universities. They are indoctrination centers. That's another problem Trump is trying to address and fix. I don't think we've quite made enough progress there. Also, guys, don't forget, get yourself some soft disclosure. Some soft disclosure, guys. It's a great way to support Badlands Media. The lotion is fantastic. They have unscented for the boys out there. They have the really lemon citrus scented stuff for the ladies. Or, I mean, boys can use scented too. It's interchangeable. It's all unisex. Let's say that. The Talabar is fantastic for the tough spots. The deodorant, I use it every day. Absolutely love the mint deodorant. I haven't tried the other scent, but I love the mint. So I'm just found something I love. I'm not going to stop using it. But yeah, the lotion is great, and it's a great way to support Badlands Media in the process. So anyway, guys, you guys have a great rest of your Friday. I'll see you tonight on Onlylands. Oh, by the way, next week, last thing, promise. Next week, I'm going to be flying out. I guess I don't know how much I want to say or can say. I'll have to talk to somebody first, but I may not be doing the show a couple days next week, and I don't know if I'm going to be finding a substitute or just not having the show. I don't know what my full plan is. It kind of just depends. I will try my best to keep you guys posted on socials, but if I do a show Monday, it's going to be pre-recorded. I'll let you guys know. I don't think there's going to be a show Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, maybe get back to normal show. But I'll let you guys know. So just stay tuned. Have a great weekend. I'm going to raid you guys over to Ghost. I will see you tonight on Onlylands, and then I'll see you next time I see you here on the Daily Herald. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Let's get started.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.